I'm sure you have seen map arts like this and wondered how they're made. In this video I will teach you everything from start to finish on how to make them, so you too can easily spice up your Minecraft world with some artwork or just make some memes. Let's get right into it. The first step is always to figure out what picture you want to convert into a map art. I recommend using a picture with less details, since it will look way better when finished. It will also take a lot less time, since you don't have to switch out the blocks so often. Another thing to keep in mind is the aspect ratio of the picture. Since the maps in Minecraft are always squared, it's the best to always choose a picture that is also a square, with a 1:1 aspect ratio. This way you don't have to stretch or shrink the picture to fit it to the map. Now that we have chosen out our picture, let's move on. Next, go on this website. I will also put the link in the video's description. This is a Mapart schematic generator made by Rebanet 2001, and it is the best tool I have found when it comes to the map arts. On the left you can see all of the blocks and what colors those blocks represent on the map art. There are also some block preset settings up here that you can enable or disable depending on if you want to use all the blocks or, for example, only use carpets in your map art. I'm going to choose all the blocks, but when building a map art for yourself in a survival world, I would recommend to use carpets or only wool blocks, since they are super easy to collect and have many different colors. Next step is to import your image. Click on this big red arrow and upload your image you want to use. You can also make the map preview smaller or larger by using those plus and minus buttons right over here. Now that we have our image uploaded, let's go over some settings. The first one is a mode in which you want to export your map art file. I will explain and come back to this a bit later when the other settings are set and we are ready to export the image. Next up we have the version where you want to build your map art in. See, this one is important, since then the program knows what blocks it can use when generating the artwork. The 1.17.1 is the latest version here, but since 1.18 didn't introduce any new blocks, it doesn't really matter, just set it to version 1.17.1 when you want to use it in 1.18. Moving on, we have the map size. This one is useful when you want to make the artwork bigger than just one map. Using more maps can also make the picture a lot more detailed. So if you have the time and want to put in the effort, you can make the artwork bigger than just one map, but I'm going to keep it at just 1:1 for now. After that we have the crop settings. On default it's set to the center. Turning it off will stretch or shrink your picture to fit it on the map, and as a result it can make the photo pretty ugly. So I wouldn't recommend to use that. Another option is to set it on manual and edit the crop yourself. I'm going to set it on the center since my photo has a 1:1 aspect ratio, so it works out really nicely. You also have the option to turn on and off the grid. This shows you the chunk borders and helps you better understand on how big the artwork is. I'm going to keep it off as I don't really need it at the moment. Next up we have to choose if you want to build the artwork flat or use the staircasing. The differences between the two are that when using the staircasing method, it's a lot harder to build in comparison to just placing blocks flat on the ground. But there's also a catch. With the staircasing you have 3 times the colors compared to just building it flat on the ground. So the choice is yours. Either to have more colors on the picture or save a lot more time. There are 2 types of staircasing, but I would just choose the valley one, since it's a lot easier to build in survival. For this video I'm going to choose the flat one though, since it's the fastest one to build. With this next setting you can choose to add or not to add blocks under your artwork, since a lot of blocks like carpet, sand and pressure plates need a block to be under them, and they can't be placed just in the air. I'm going to choose the important blocks option. This adds blocks only under the blocks that need it, like carpet and sand for example. Next you can choose what block will be under it, and it's the best to choose a block that you have a lot of, or can just easily get a lot. I'm gonna go with dirt. Next up, make sure that the better colors option is selected. This will make your map art look a bit better. And the last main setting is the dithering. This adds seemingly random pixels to your image for the illusion of more colors. You can turn it off or choose between quite a couple ones. Make sure to check each one and pick the one you like the most. At the bottom here are also some additional image processing settings, where you can change the brightness, contrast or saturation of the image. You can also toggle the background to be on or off. And we are ready to export now. If you want to build the Mapart fully in survival without mods, press the View Online button right over here. Here you can zoom in and out to see all of the block placements, and then just replicate it in survival. But if you are okay with using mods, then let's go back to the top and take a look at the expert mode settings. There are two options, NBT and the TAT file. Using TAT file is easier, so let's start with that. You first need to create the map in your world, and then look at the map ID. Now drop the Mapart file you just downloaded into the data folder right here and rename it as the original map file in the folder. Now just go in game again and you will have a Mapart without even building anything into your world. The NBT files can be used with Litematica and structure blocks. To use it with Litematica, download the NBT file and paste it into the schematics folder. Next, go into the world you want to build your art. Find a nice flat area, for example over the ocean, and load your map. Now also load your schematics and make sure it's lined up with the map. The map corner has to line up with the chunk corner. You can use F3+G to help you line up everything. Once everything is looking good, you can start filling up the blocks. And soon enough you will have a nice looking map art in your world. But if you don't want to build the map art yourself, or you just don't have Litematica, you can use the structure blocks to just paste it in there. Just place the NBT file into the structure folder located right here. If you don't have those folders, you can just create them right now. Next, go into the world you want to paste the map art, load the map and go to the top left corner. Now make sure that you are in creative mode and give yourself a structure block. Place it down and make sure it's set to load. Next, type in your NBT file name up here. Press load and the white outlines of your map art will actually show up. It should be in the right direction, but if it's not, you can rotate it. And to paste it, power the structure by placing a redstone block right next to it. And boom, you have yourself a map art, easy as that. You can also easily share your map arts by just sharing the NBT file. And that's how you make map arts in Minecraft. I hope you learned something new and see ya!